Good morning, and welcome to the Brenda Perryman Show right here on TV 33, WHPR, Comcast 91 in Detroit, and all over the world, courtesy of the World Wide Web. We have a lot going on this morning, a lot of good stuff going on. I have two extraordinary guests this first show, but second show, if any of you ever had an experience playing basketball at St. Cecilia's Gym, stay tuned and call in on the next hour on Table Talk, because we're going to talk about the new movie, The Saint, which is about St. Cecilia's Gym and all the great stars who came out of there. But first and foremost, I want to introduce to you, a lot of people know him because he's so extraordinary. I'm really using that word this morning. This is Sean Lee, photographer extraordinary. How are you?
Hi, how you doing, Brenda? Thank you for having me on.
Oh, I'm glad to have you on because he's a legend. I had to chase him down for like 3 years to get him on here. But he is great. A lot of the great photos that you see, headshots and visual shots he's done. And photography, a lot of people like to take photos, but it's really an art to it, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's I'm gonna be honest with you, it is an art to it, but when I started because I needed to take care of my family. So it was a hustle for me in the beginning, and so we got good at it, and here we are.
Well, let's go a little further back.
Okay.
Are you a native Detroiter?
I am born and raised Detroit. I live in Detroit right now.
Right. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Renaissance High School.
Renaissance.
Phoenix. 93.
Great school.
Yes.
Great school.
Yes.
Great school.
Yes.
I know
my wife went to
great
Cass, so yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Two highly intelligent individuals, I should say. So tell me, what age were you when you first got interested in taking pictures? Or in other words, did you always just kind of take?
I'm going to tell you, I was a grown man when I got into photography, but my mom was an artist, and I had been drawing since I was 4 years old.
Oh.
So in high school, I took art classes. I took college art classes while I was in high school, and I was an illustrator. And so it was an easy transition for me to go to photography because I was already an artist.
Okay, so you say it was an easy transition there.
Yeah. Being a creative.
Yeah, well, being a creative, you do look at things a little differently.
A little differently, yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, my story's probably a little different in that.
Talk about it.
Well, I was a warehouse worker. I drove a forklift truck.
Really?
Right? And so I had two great jobs at the same time. And what made me jump into photography is that I got laid off of both of them within 4 months of each other.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so if it had not been for the economic downturn in our city, right, and in the nation, I wouldn't be pursuing photography as a career.
So what made you think did you wait until you had been laid off from both jobs, or had you started taking some photos before that?
Well, before that, I had taken photos because, I'm a man and I like toys, so I bought me a camera. And I was probably like most other people who buy cameras. We put it on automatic. We lay on the shutter button and we hope that one or two of them are great shots out of 1,000, right? And that's just what I did as a hobby. But when I got laid off of both jobs, I was tired of being on call. I was tired of people having control of my life. So I said, let me see if I can pursue this as a career. And so I got really serious at that time. Went to school, got my education, started to increase.
Where did you go?
So I went to Schoolcraft College, woohoo! Went to Henry Ford Community College,
Great.
And did some stuff there, and also went to a place called MPW and got some of my education.
Okay, great. So what did you learn about photography that you didn't already know? Were there some things that you had to learn?
Absolutely. What I really appreciate about photography is that it is as equally technical as it is creative. That camera, that tool that we carry, you have to know formulas, you have to know engineering, you have to know lighting. The word photograph means to paint with light, and you need to be able to measure light in order to paint with it through a camera. That, for me, I'm a nerd, that's what attracted me.
So, I mean, that light thing is really important too.
Absolutely.
And because a lot of times you could take a great picture, and if the light is wrong, it just totally makes you want to tear up the picture.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to understand, you got to know lighting. Not only that, I think the easy part is getting the camera in position and taking the photograph and hitting that button. The harder part is actually knowing your client and making people feel comfortable and making people smile. And you know, when you have people, beautiful people like you already in front of the camera, it makes it easy.
Come on. Come on. Anyway, so you said you had to do that to start, helping you support your family, right?
Absolutely.
So what did you start taking photos of initially?
That is such a great question. So while most people enter photography because it's a hobby and it's something they love to do and they want to pursue it, for me, I had to take care of home. And, I always tell this story that I would photograph your cat, your dog, the roof, the grass, anything that made $1, I would do it, right? And so that didn't make money for me. And so what I found that made money for me was volume photography, so school photography.
Okay.
Right, was one of the things that I entered in high school senior photography.
Right. That's, really, having taught high school, I know that those photos, the senior pictures, that's the biggest thing around.
It is. Can I tell you, if and I don't know if your listeners would be interested, but when doing research and looking up statistics, you can walk into an elementary school, let's say that has, I don't know, 800, 1,000 kids. You could walk in there with no money, and you could walk out with about $19,000 cash. So
Jeez.
That's why I started doing school photography, because I could actually augment my career and actually make money doing it. So that's what started me off in photography.
Wow, because I know, for one thing, when they take the class pictures, not only the senior pictures, which the seniors had to go into the studio, but the underclassmen pictures, they just had something set up on the stage,
Set
and
up on
everybody,
site.
yes,
That's
and
right.
you did it right there.
Little snot-nosed kids come across, they hand you an envelope with money in it. You take their picture and you take the next child with money in the envelope, and you keep going. And so at the end of a day, you could actually make a lot of money. You got to know what you're doing, because as much as you can make money, you could really screw some stuff up.
Well, too, I mean, because having been a parent and still a parent, but as my kids, every year they take the pictures and
That's right.
everything. But sometimes I say, why didn't that photographer have her at least pat her head, the hair sticking up like that? I don't want these pictures.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have to take a little care also.
Absolutely. We can't have our babies out there looking crazy.
I mean, I tell you, all left wing. I said, well, what in the heck? So, kids, people love their kids with pictures. And
Yes.
then my grandson plays football, so every year he gets
Every
a
year.
football picture.
Every year. Multiply that by leagues, right? And, hundreds of kids, right?
Wow.
It could be a viable business.
So you took it from there and you started taking the school photos and so forth. When did you start taking headshots and things of that nature?
When I got, I think as skill set increases and you constantly improve, you get opportunities to take headshots and of people of influence and things of that nature, and being a part of city projects and major projects, people start to call you, right? And what it becomes is it's not so much just taking the photograph, but making sure you take care of people and making sure they feel comfortable, and making sure that you optimize them looking good, and going through hair being done and makeup and everything else that goes along with that is why it's kind of how I got into doing headshots and people calling me to do them.
Right.
And along that same line, what ended up happening was I pursued education. And because I'm passionate about Detroit, I'm passionate about people, I love my community, as I went up the ladder, I also gave back.
Right, and we want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, I've been fortunate enough to be a part of some really cool projects, right? And one is,
Like what?
well, we did a few years ago when Detroit was going through bankruptcy. Me and a couple other people, but mainly Hodge Flemings, did a project called Detroit's Largest Selfie, where everybody in Detroit and Metro Detroit met on the steps of the Detroit Institute of Arts, and every local news station was out there, and I was the official photographer to take Detroit's largest selfie. There were people like the Michigan Science Center, there was Shinola was out there, and people came along, and on the steps of the Science Center with Channel 4, Channel 2, Channel 7, we had all of the local radio stations and everybody. We took the largest selfie in Detroit that went national and went viral.
Oh, great.
Right.
Great.
And so being a part of projects like that kind of opened doors for us to be able to do bigger projects. And from there, I was able to become the head photographer for Motor City Match, which is
oh, yes. Explain to the audience what that is, because that's a great program.
Absolutely. Motor City Match is Detroit's federally funded program that gives grant money to business building owners and business owners, brings them together so that Detroit residents and neighborhoods can start to open up shop and open up small business where they didn't have the opportunity before. And if it is still the same, I believe it is $500,000 every quarter they give away to Detroit based businesses. And so I was the official photographer, and it was my job for 2.5 years to capture every business owner that came through the Motor City Match program.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
And so that opened up that door from a citywide level. It opened up the door for other projects like Rebrand Cities, where we had a partnership with WordPress.com to put 10,000 small businesses on the grid. I was the official photographer for that international project, so I would travel all over the place taking pictures of small businesses and business owners.
And you still travel. You still travel.
I still travel a great deal. I am one of 5 African Americans that speak at the highest level in the world in photography. I'm also an influencer, so it's my job to open up doors for people of color that really want to do photography as a business, and they really want to make money at it and take care of their families with it. We provide opportunity to teach, to train, and provide a community.
That's what I was going to ask you about, because there are a lot of people, we all take little family pictures, around like that. But some people just enjoy taking pictures of the Ambassador Bridge or, different sites, go out to Belle Isle and take some photos. But to get into professional photography, what should be the first step?
You have to think like a business owner. You have to be an entrepreneur. It's one thing to go out and take a photograph and love to take the photograph. It's another thing to charge for it. It's another thing to have environment that your client feels comfortable in. It's another thing to process credit cards, right? It's another thing to deliver consistent quality over and over and over again. It's another thing to have marketing and overhead and everything else that goes along with that, right? And so I would admonish people that you have to have an entrepreneurial mindset. You have to serve people well and take care of people and be ready to fix problems. Because anybody can take a great photo, right? But what happens when everything doesn't go so well? How do you recover, and how do you make sure your client is taken care of?
Now, give an example of something not going so well.
I can give you a great example. So when I was doing schools, right? So you're talking about 300, 400 children. And in processing the photographs, something went wrong digitally in the cropping, and most of the kids' heads were cut off.
Oh, God.
Right? So photographs get delivered to angry parents, right, who have pictures of kids with their foreheads chopped off.
Oh, God.
Right? So there is no, the money's been paid and your money's been made. There's no such thing as, well, you're just going to have to live with it. Your name is on the line. And so I had to, and it was a tough time. I took a month. I had to correct everything. And when you talk about...
Did you retake the photos or what?
No, the photos were taken correctly. It was just in processing and printing, something digitally shifted between me and the processor, and something got messed up. Well, you have to fix that. Not only do you have to fix that, I had to reprint all of the photos at my expense.
Oh.
Right? And not only that, you have to make sure parents are happy and okay, and you have to have customer service in place and a phone number for them to call, and you have to talk to all of them and make sure that they're okay and let them know that it's not going to happen again, right? All of that is that is business.
Yes.
Or I could have let it go and my name would have been crap.
Right.
right?
Right.
Yep, or wouldn't have gone back to the school.
Well, when
So
it comes down to everything, all you have is your name, really.
that's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is, I think that's the biggest part of not just photography, but any business that you go into, is that you make sure you have to recover your name, and that by the time you leave the stage, your name remains intact, because that's what will speak for you when you're not in the room.
So, do you say everyone who wants to get into photography should buy an SLR camera?
I would say, I think that if you're going to do it as a profession, you need to have a DSLR camera, which is a digital single lens reflex camera of some sort. But if you're learning and you ultimately want to enter into the business, I would say take what you have and maximize it until it can't do for you what you need it to do.
Now, what if people only have their iPhone?
Well, I don't. You can do work with iPhone, right? I don't know if you can build a strong photographic business off of iPhone.
Right,
so
right.
that goes back into that entrepreneurial piece where you have to invest in business. You can't be cheap and expect people to pay you a lot of money. You have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in your business. And as far as the photographer is concerned, you have to invest in getting great equipment.
Right, right. And this equipment isn't cheap.
Oh no, you can't do, this ain't your Instamatic.
I know the whole Instamatic days with that little square thing on top, the flash.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Oh
ma'am.
no, I was taking them though.
You was taking them? I would say entry level for an entry level DSLR, you'd probably spend anywhere between $500 to $700. For a pro level DSLR, you can spend anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000.
Because I have a DSLR camera, but I don't have a lens. I didn't get an extra lens to it and all of those things. I don't understand it well enough to invest in something like that.
Yeah, that's why use what you got until the inkling comes on for you to for a person to keep going. Right.
And the success, some success. You have to wait until you have a little success, or you at least look like you know what you're doing.
Yes,
Don't you
ma'am.
think?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. To invest more money.
Yes.
Yes, I would say that. I know people with who've spent money on, they've taken their retirement funds and spent a great deal of their retirement funds on cameras, but haven't increased their skill set. So they just got a bunch of expensive cameras doing iPhone work.
Oh, gee.
Yeah. So,
Well, what's the most challenging photography or photographic job you've ever had to do?
that is a great question. I would say weddings for me. I don't do weddings anymore, but weddings are very challenging.
Why?
I'll give you an example. So, and I'm not cheap, right? So I charged this couple a lot of money years ago for a wedding, and then we go through plan everything, right? You should plan because it's a wedding. So one day you don't get a second chance,
Yeah, right.
You plan everything, and you get there the wedding day, and then the priest in an Orthodox church walks up to you and says, "No flash.
Oh,
Can't use flash. Your whole day is built off of."
flash.
Yes, light, right,
Light,
in order
right.
to photograph. And so we don't get paid as professionals to just be good. You have to be good by default. We get paid to be able to make stuff happen even in difficult times, right? And so I had to photograph that entire wedding without flash in a very, 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 very dark church, right? How do you do that when you only get one shot at a wedding? You have to know what you're doing. You have to adjust, and you have to adjust instantly. So we made it happen, but it was tough.
It was tough and it was challenging, and with weddings, it seems like they're planned out, but things don't always go as planned.
No. That's what separates the wheat from the chaff, right? That's what makes an entrepreneur is that you got to be able to sidestep and keep it going and make it happen, right? Failure is just not an option,
Right.
for us, and that's same with any creative field or any entrepreneurial field. Failure is just not an option, and the only reason I'm here is because I'm not better than anybody else. I'm not made any greater than anybody else. It's just I just refuse to stop.
Well, we have some of your photos that you've taken. If another Sean, can set that up. and we could show something. There they go. Is that Nicole?
That's
Farmer?
Nicole Farmer.
Yeah, I thought so. She's a friend of the show.
Very cool. Yes, Dr. Farmer.
Yes.
Rock that. Oh, you just gonna start throwing random photos up? All right, here we go.
Well,
I hope these folk don't mind. Yes, that's
that came out like
that's okay. That's okay. That's Shannon Polk. She's an attorney out in the Flint area.
So we could make them go a little fast. Okay, Nicole.
That's Tanya Allen.
Tanya Allen.
She's the CEO of Skillman Foundation. Yes. That's Dana Harvey.
Yes.
Great friend, great person,
She's
unbelievable professional. Christopher Johnson, who is on the board with me of TEDx Detroit. Amazing guy. This is some of the work that we did for Rebrand Cities, the global project that was partnered with WordPress. And so these are shots from LA and Miami, and you'll see them from some everywhere of small business owners that we've captured. And this is sort of the stuff that you're looking at, the type of headshots, the style of headshots. She's a restaurant owner in LA. And she's affectionately known as Grandma, right? And so you'll just see different types of shots, different types of professional
and
headshots.
ethnicities.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that is really important to me is diversity
Right.
in what we do. And I don't know if you know it or not, but I am the head of diversity for the largest trade organization in
We
the world
should
for
have some more,
photographers.
Sean, also. There should be some more.
Yeah.
But you do something for TEDx. Why don't you explain that?
TEDx. So technology, entertainment, design, right? TED conferences. And so the X is for independently planned events. So many cities have their own TED conference. And so I'm on the board of TEDx Detroit, where Charlie Wohlberg is the curator of that. And so I've been there since 2016, and this year we are at the Masonic Temple, where we'll have about 4,000 to 5,000 peers coming to the TEDx Detroit November 6th to enjoy TED Talks. So hopefully,
what's going to happen that day?
That's an amazing thing. So we got 3 sets of some amazing speakers, and what's cool about TED is that we have speakers from they either live in Detroit, they're from Detroit, or they work in Detroit. Right, and that's the premise of having people come and speak, and we have people speak from all types of idea points, right, that can change the landscape of Detroit from idea thinking. It is one of the coolest conferences that you will ever go to. We have entertainers and singers that come. We have magicians that perform on stage. We have comedians. We have some of the top minds in the world that come and talk for 8 to 12 minutes. About an idea.
An idea.
An idea that can change the world. And so when you have, for example, people from NASA or astronauts or engineering type minds partnered with creative minds like photographers, right? Or painters or poets.
Right.
When that clashes together, it is this amazing thing, amazing explosion that happens where there are ideas that change the world, because they're not just formulas and engineers that change the world. They're also artists combined with the minds of brilliant engineers or astronauts. Those ideas come together. You can change society for the better.
Wow. So who can come to this?
Anybody. So right now, go to TEDxDetroit.com and get your tickets. I think early bird is done, but it's also one of the most cost-effective conferences that you do. When you find 5,000 people that are just like you, it's a very cool experience. And as a part of it, there are TEDx labs and creative spaces that you can go to. And actually, my Detroit work will be there at TEDx Detroit this year too.
Oh, now you had a competition going on last week. I mean, it ended, the applications ended last week.
Yes, so I am Director of Photography for TEDx Detroit. Is my job and our job to capture the conference, the stage, everything. And so this year, we put out an application for people to apply to be a part of the team. We're going to announce that team October 1st, right? So all of the applications are in. Myself and my director of photography, her name is Tremaine C.A. She is an African-American woman who is phenomenal, as a phenomenal photographer. She went full-time. Up underneath our organization. So she was a full-time teacher. She is now a full-time photographer. She has a husband, 4 children, and is making a living doing photography as a career. She is my director of photography for TEDx Detroit.
So, are there classes for people who want to get into professional photography?
Absolutely. We partner with Schoolcraft College,
Okay.
who I've had the pleasure of helping to innovate their programming and photography programming. Also go to MAP, so welovephotographers.com.
Okay, great, great, great. Now, if somebody wants to contact your studios about having their headshots done, what would they do?
They could go to ShawnLeeStudios.com, ShawnLee Studios with an S.com, or they can call 248-764-0860, and they would speak to Dawn, my assistant.
Wow. Oh, I have to ask this one last question.
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you see yourself or like to see yourself in 5 years?
Wow, that's a great question. I see myself in 5 years, probably a little longer than that, being able to hand over something tangible to the next generation of professionals, right? It is not my dream to hold on to this and build a conglomerate and just have it. I want to build something strong. I want to build something foundational so that we can hand it over to the next generation of professionals. I'm very passionate about our youth, and if they are to be successful, it'll be because we invest in them.
That is excellent. That's excellent because we have to look forward.
Absolutely.
We have to, as part of our legacy,
Yes, ma'am.
have people ready to take the mantle and run with it, right?
Yes, ma'am. That's
and,
right.
I mean, it's just important. It's just important, and I admire that so much about you. And I don't know what happened to the other photos, but he took my photos early this week, and he
Hottest
makes
stuff
you
on
feel good. He makes you feel good when he's doing the work. But of course, I'm going to show it soon as I get them back. I'll show them to you, all of you. He does a great job, and he does make you feel very, very comfortable. Sean, I can't think of
that.
anyone better to take that and lead these photographers here, lead and encourage people to be the best.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brenda, for having me on. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your platform. You're an amazing woman. You're an amazing person. You've been around for a long time, and you have blazed a trail.
Long time. Well, thank you. I got to have you back to see. And honestly, you should see his exterior work. He just is amazing, really. And go on to Sean Lee Studios.
Yes.
On
ShawnLeeStudios.com.
Facebook too.
Facebook as well.
And yeah, on ShawnLeeStudios.com and
Yes,
Sean
ma'am.
Lee Studios on Facebook. See some wonderful, wonderful work. So thank you so much,
Thank
darling.
you so much,
Give
Brenda.
me a
I love
hug.
you. Yes. Sugar.
And next, I have Alyssa Space. She's invented her own cosmetic line, and she's a chemist, a woman. All right, right on. We'll be back. I am back with a young lady. It's so good to see young women really forging ahead, and Alyssa Space is one of them. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Such a pretty girl.
Thank
Such a
you.
pretty girl. That's what Maya Angelou said to me. I opened up for her once, and I met her, and I said, Miss Angelou, I'm so pleased to meet you. And she looked up, and she said, such a pretty girl. I said, Lord, have mercy, take me off my space. But let's talk a little about you. Have you always been in Detroit, or?
I'm originally from Chicago. However, when my mother got a new job, we actually moved to Detroit, and I've been here since I was Yeah, in the first grade.
Oh, first grade. Where'd you go to school?
I attended Academy of the Sacred Heart for high school, and then I later attended Michigan State University.
Spartans.
Yes, go green.
Oh, that's what they say. That's what they say. And so, what was your major there?
I was actually a chemical engineer when I first went into college, and I realized that I really wanted to be more so in the lab, so I decided to switch to chemistry.
To chemistry. And after you got out of college, what did you do?
My first job was actually as a quality assurance chemist with Pfizer, and then I later moved on to another position here in Ferndale.
Oh, okay. And now, makeup.
Yes.
Makeup. What inspired this?
So my love for beauty and passion actually has,
And it's called For Her?
yes, for her cosmetics.
Wow.
So I just wanted to give something to women that look like me because I felt that we weren't necessarily represented in the beauty industry.
When you say women that look like you, in what regard?
In particular, women of color, but I am an inclusive line. So I did want to give us something that was actually premium, quality, and just special. So,
Right. Now, a lot of people claim to do that.
Right.
But what makes your makeup different?
so I've studied color theory, and I look at the actual undertones that women of color typically have, from the oranges to the reds to the nice soft pinks. Like, it ranges, so I actually made colors that, help those colors come out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Well, women of color are all kinds of color. So, tell us, what do you make in your work? Do you do any foundations? What do you do?
So currently I do the most basic application of makeup, which is lipstick for women and lip gloss, because it doesn't really take much talent. You just apply it to your lips, and it's also super bold. So it's the easiest application, the easiest process, and then also it makes a statement when you wear like a bold lipstick like you have on now.
Oh, this is red.
Yeah.
I said red dress, red lipstick. That was easy. That was easy. But I'm looking at your colors because you have this purple.
Yes.
Well, not a purple. I wouldn't call it purple. What do you call this?
Well, this color actually is called Envy on my website, but this is a light, soft purple, but on different skin tones, it can either appear lighter or it can actually appear darker, just depending on your undertones, actually.
Really?
Yes.
And this is, ladies and gentlemen, you can't see these up close, but I'd like to show them. What is this? I love this color. It's a very dark.
Yes. This is a fall favorite, actually. This is one of my best sellers. It's called Chocolate, and it's a deep brown that literally is so bold and beautiful, and I just love to recommend it to my queens. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Swatch it.
Oh, I just got, you know how we do when we go into the store.
See how
Oh.
pigmented it is?
Huh?
It's very pigmented.
Yes, it is. It's
Yes.
brown.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Shea butter base, so it's super soft.
Oh, it has a shea butter base?
It's super moisturizing, and it lasts all
Tell
day.
everyone the benefit of shea.
So shea butter is actually really good for our skin and our chemistry. I also add vitamin E oil in there, which is really good with slowing down the aging process of your skin as well.
Slowing down the aging process of your skin as well.
Yes.
Brenda Perryman loves hearing this.
Definitely.
Oh, wow.
And then I actually use a plant-based wax called Candyline wax, which actually helps it keep its form. So if you leave it in the car for a few hours, you won't come back to melted chocolate.
Oh, great, great. Now, what is this one? This one's kind of a cream ivory color.
Yes.
What is this?
So this is for my minimalist women who come to me and say, I don't really wear makeup, I don't really like lipstick, and I'm like, so what do you use to moisturize? So I've created a base for women to actually use that if, say, they're not really into lipstick, or women who actually wear matte lipsticks, because I don't carry matte lipsticks because I'm a moisture brand, so
Yes,
I stay away from the
yes.
drying formulas.
Well, most of the time I use a moisture type of lipstick. Today it just was dry. I mean, or matte, as you say. Some days I just want to be matte. Now, what is this? This is a gloss?
Yes, this is our vegan gloss. It has a hydrogel carbon base, and I actually infuse coconut oil and vitamin E as well into this formula.
Now, what's the good of having a a gloss. You'd put a gloss over a matte, right?
Yes, you can.
And would you recommend putting a gloss over one of these?
Yes, actually, one of my brand ambassadors loves mixing the lipsticks and the lip gloss because it adds an extra shine, and it also just adds more pop.
Wow. So with this, I like this. I like this. Now, it looks to me like this chocolate. What do you call this?
Chocolate.
Okay,
Lipstick.
is doesn't seem like it seems to be kind of matte.
So it is a darker color, so it may appear to be, but the formula is it's not a non-drying formula.
Right.
Yeah.
It does kind of shine.
Yeah.
I like this color.
Yes, we love moisture.
Yes, I love this. Now, what are these? You have the pots, these little pots. What
Yes.
are these?
So those are actually loose highlighters, mineral eyeshadows. They can be used
Eyeshadows?
Yes. So
Really?
here.
I'm trying.
So this is actually a glitter base, and you can mix these with our glosses because the way that our glosses are formulated, they actually have a sticky base that allows them to connect to the skin.
Is that what you have on your eyes?
I actually do have on a slight shimmer of eyeshadow, but I actually have on the lip gloss right now. It's called Hot Cocoa, and it's a nice brown nude sparkly lip gloss.
Yeah, but what about your eyes?
My eyeshadow, yes, that is a mineral highlight as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, now this is powder.
Yes, it's actually mixed with a mineral called cerussite, which helps set the shimmer onto the face so it doesn't just slide, but it does
Oh,
add
wow,
that nice
this is
flip.
so sharp. Oh,
Yes.
everybody. Oh, you can't see, but this is beautiful. So,
Yes.
I mean,
Thank you.
I've never done a powder like that for.
Makeup artists typically like them the most because they like to, create and work with loose powders. However, the loose powders actually last longer, and it allows me to not use alcohol because I don't really like to use alcohol. Although it does evaporate mostly, but it does contaminate. So
Oh, really?
I don't like alcohol in mine.
Alcohol. Oh, okay.
Yes.
People use they use alcohol in these other brands.
Yes. So for set palettes, when you see like a palette that has like a set actual eyeshadow, they've probably used alcohol to get it in that format.
Oh, okay. I see. Now, what is this another lipstick right here?
Oh, that's another gloss. That one is called Bubblegum. It's a soft pink gloss. And yes, go ahead. If you want to put it on top, add some more.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and it lasts so long. It doesn't give you that nasty white residue because the way that I formulate it, it won't react with your saliva.
So what do you do? Talk about it. You have a lab at home?
Yes, I currently have a lab at home in Bloomfield, and I'm actually looking to expand in the next month to a commercial lab space in Detroit.
Really?
Yes.
Now, how can people find you?
I am on the internet. My website is www.forhercosmetics.com.
For her, and that's the number 4.
It's-
or FOR.
Yes, FOR.
For her. But on here it says for her.
Yes, with
Okay.
the makeup brushes. I like that that branding piece there. It's really nice.
So tell us, come on, I got to know. When you go into your lab, what do you do?
So
I mean, what's on your mind? Are you going in there to say, well, let me invent something new? Tell me what's on your mind.
So I honestly, I go in and I always come, I'm ready. I'm up and I'm ready to just create beauty for my customers and my clients. And I understand that I have to put the right, love and amount of attention and detail into my product so that I can give back these quality products for my customers. So the creative process starts.
Wait, I got to know what you do. Okay, I'll ask like this. Okay, here's chocolate lipstick. When you come into the lab, do you have like a vat for your lipstick, or I'm just saying, what's in there?
So-
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Right now, I use my double boiler. So I start with the raw materials. I measure out exactly which ingredient and how much I'm supposed to per gram, as well as milliliters. And then I actually melt my products down. And then once they are completely mixed with the pigment, I actually emulsify them into the shape of the lipsticks that you see
That's what
here.
I was going to ask also. How do you get the lipstick shape? shape.
Yes, I have molds actually for them. So literally once they're still a liquid, once they're melted down, and then once they solidify at room temperature, you have a finished lipstick.
So you have these containers. What do they call the
Lipstick
lipstick
tubes.
tubes? Yours is really different.
Thank
It's
you.
really different. It's a it's a black. It's a, kind of rectangular, but it has. It just seems like filigree is in here. It's filigree design.
Yes.
And so you have molds.
Yes, I do.
Now, don't tell me you put the stuff in here.
Yes, I literally do the start to finish, raw material to packaging. Is I do the entire process.
Wow.
Yes. This.
Now, I met her when she had a pop-up table.
Yes.
And I just felt it was just very interesting to show you how she's going around everywhere. And I tried to get her on the show last week, and she was saying, "Well, I have a pop-up." Or, how do you find these places, and how do you pop up?
So I actually started with just research and just looking into events that were in the local area. And then as I've become more acquainted with my area, people actually come to me with opportunities like fashion shows, like women's events, mothers events, just empowerment events. They just come to me now. So
Oh, really?
yes.
Really? Now, what has been the feedback from it?
Honestly, women love the pigment. They love the moisture. They love my customer service. They love how I take the time to actually find a color that matches them, and I'm not just trying to sell. I'm actually trying to build a relationship. So
How many colors do you have of lipstick?
I actually currently have 100 products online, but as far as yes, I've been doing this for a minute, but
She's 5 years old, and she said she's been doing it. No, no. But wow, great.
yes.
So, how do they find you online?
So I actually am on
Again.
social media too. So Instagram, you can shop directly from our website, Facebook, as well as Twitter, and then I'm also, like I said, on the website, e-commerce.
Now, so we could get these. Do you have your lipstick colors? Because it seems like you have a lot of
Yes,
colors.
I do have the colors listed. I have pinks, purples, blues, greens, red, you name it.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, will you be getting into making a blush?
I actually do want to formulate more products as far as like foundation, concealer, eyeliner, but funding is important. So
Well, right,
yes, so,
it is. It is.
and that's
Do you put the money back into your?
yes, I put it back into my products, and I also put it into my STEM program. So
Now, that's what I was going to talk about next, your STEM program. And as we know, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math.
yes.
Tell us about it.
So I am a chemist, so I actually have a STEM enrichment program for children to learn alternatively how to actually create the products that I create. So I teach them the science behind the chemicals or that I use, because technically natural products are still chemicals. And they get to learn about entrepreneurship skills, self-esteem skills, and I also get to teach them how to become the chemist.
Wow. That's so remote for me. No, I remember chemistry class.
Yes.
I remember it. And I said, how am I in this class? I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I'm an artist, so I don't, but I hung with it. But
Yes.
Michelle, my producer, she's an engineer.
Oh,
She's,
nice.
yeah, she's
Women
an
in STEM.
engineer. She's heavy, you know. But as I want to go right back to this, so do you teach them how to make anything?
Yes, so I teach them the actual basic science behind the products that I use. So they learn the melting point. They learn what an emulsifier is. They also learn like why it's important to
What
be.
is an emulsifier?
So basically, I use, like I mentioned earlier, the Candyline wax. It actually solidifies my products at room temperature, and that gives it, that's the emulsification, basically. So that's why you're able to see this in a solid form at room temperature.
Wow. So, how many hours do you work every week in the studio, in your lab? I'm sorry.
Oh, it varies, but honestly, I probably work about 80 to 100 hours a week.
You hear that, everybody? You hear
Yes.
that? I mean, this doesn't come without hard work. And then she's able to really display what she makes on herself, because
Yes.
she has the beautiful gloss on her lips.
Thank you.
She has her eyeshadow, just gorgeous. And what's the difference between this and a MAC makeup? Everybody gets MAC.
So a lot of cosmetic companies, the FDA regulations are really loose for cosmetics, especially for women, and
Wow.
they are allowed to put in different products that are not necessarily over time good for your body. And when I say good for your body, you digest your lipstick. Everything that you put on your body, your skin absorbs. It's the biggest organ of your body, and they are putting in like carcinogens and things that are not necessarily,
And carcinogens help with cancer.
help with cancer. Yes,
Help,
they
well,
feed into it. Yes,
they feed into it, right?
whether it's from the dye or just some of the actual product that
God.
they put into it to
You're
make it
scaring
last.
me to death. Golly.
Yes.
But you don't.
No, I literally use all natural products. So castor oil, vitamin E oil, shea butter, candle wax, and jojoba oil. That's all.
So where will you be coming up? Now, today is the 27th of September.
Yes.
Do you have some pop-ups coming up
Of course.
in the metropolitan area?
This weekend is Michigan State's homecoming, so I will be at the MSU Black Alumni's tailgate, as well as our home hotel, and I'll be a vendor there from Friday, today actually, until Sunday. So.
Wow. What about down in this area?
And in Detroit, I'm trying to think. I have an event, a fashion show, next Sunday, and then I also have a beauty expo that is in Southfield next Sunday as well. That one's in the morning from 11 until 4.
At the Southfield Civic Center or the library?
Yes, at the Civic Center.
Wow.
So I'm always
Well, I
around here.
definitely wish you the best. I want to
Thank
get.
you.
I think I'm going to get a couple of these eyeshadows for my daughter. I might order them or whatever for my daughter, because she is a makeup artist. I'd like her
Yes.
to be exposed to this, because if they don't know, they don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's Alyssa Space, everybody.
Thank you.
Oh, I have to ask you the 5-year question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see my business having a storefront in Detroit that also has a dual, so outside of retail, it'll have a community lab space where children will actually be able to come in and create their own products, and then it'll also be a unique shopping experience for women.
Wow. You saw her here first, everyone. You saw her here first. And these lipsticks are amazing. Tell them
you.
once again how to get in touch with you.
So I am online, www.forhercosmetics.com. That's FORHERCOSMETICS. And then I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at For Her Cosmetics.
Right. Excellent. Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, I wish you the best. She's my sorority sister, too.
Yes.
AKAs. Alyssa, best wishes to you.
Thank you so much for having
We got to
me.
keep in touch.
Yes, we will.
Definitely. So we'll be back. Remember what I said. If you played at St. Cecilia's or you saw a great game at St. Cecilia's, we're going to be talking about that next with our guests.